Hello. Alright, I need to mute my stream tab. But this is the promised stream of working on my elemental alt on a controller, of all things. Something that I have no experience on. But welcome in, poor boy. How's your day been? Alright, I don't know how to zoom in partially on this. Yeah, gonna be working on my elemental alt. I don't know much about it. Alright, how do I do this? Actions and traits. No. Is that part of general? Yes, it is. Yeah, the problem is I am on a PS4 controller and it's showing me Xbox controls. Wonder if that might be a setting that I can change. Oh, it says requires reboot. I'll make do with this since it's gonna be a one-off thing. Oh, it feels weird. Let's see if I know how to actually... Okay. I don't know how to compare this, so... Yeah, I said I would do a elemental stream on... How do I... There it is. That's how you skip the cutscene. Uh, how do I... Oh, that's how. See, I have no experience doing anything in 14 with a controller. I tried it once and then kind of gave up right away. Because it was just easier to stick with keyboard and mouse. I'm really impressed that people are like able to raid on that. Alright, I should probably actually turn down the desktop thing a little bit so my voice doesn't end up accidentally drowned out since I turned it up for the back rooms. Yes. Definitely glad I've decided to do my trial of this on... How does this work? There we go. I can sprint now. This sort of emulates the feeling of being new to the game. Just kind of trying to figure out all the controls and stuff. If I know how the game actually works. Kind of gives us a fresh feeling of experience. Or feeling of a fresh experience, rather. Yeah, I decided Elemental is the best bet for me to run this as. Because otherwise, Elemental would have been kind of left behind. As you can probably tell, I'm not great with the controller for the most part. Either that, or maybe the movement's a little weird. Yeah, most of what I use the controller for is something like Crisis Core or Kingdom Hearts. This feels weird on a controller. Alright, I think what I'm moving on to will probably be the first dungeon as well. I probably gotta talk to these guys. Fairy Skipper? What is this again? Left bumper and R to zoom. Ooh, that is really sensitive. Okay, Aleport. I also don't have any... Oh, oh, that feels weird. I must have hit something that started me automatically moving. I don't know what, though. It's like my character is drunk with how I'm moving. Yeah, the name doesn't fit quite as well for this character, because I ended up deciding to switch out to a Hrothgar instead of a Viera. Because at first I was going to stick with a Bun, but I already have one. Oh, right. My VTuber model isn't on. I was about to load that up and then got kind of sidetracked. I knew I was forgetting something. And my chat blocker. No, there's really much that needs to be blocked, but it's just a good thing to keep a habit of, just in case. Hey, Fires, welcome in. How's it going? How's your day been? If you're just tuning in, I'm loading up my VTuber model, because I forgot to load that up, but doing my Elemental controller stream, which I promised to do as one of the milestones. And as for the karaoke stream, that's gonna be a while out, because I sort of need to get myself mentally prepared for it and everything. Yeah, it's probably gonna pop up on stream, but... Alright, I need to fix the colors, because it's no longer in the back rooms. That's not the right one. Yeah, a little behind the scenes look. It should be tracking my face. Give me a moment. Usually takes it a minute to fully connect. Oh, there we go. It started tracking now. Oops. Yeah, it's being a little fiddly. Going good, kinda slept until 7 p.m. Yeah, well, rest is good. What is going on with my neck? Yeah, maybe I have to move my camera a bit. Or something. Okay, it looks like that's better. It's just being a little finicky right now. Wants me to do the trials, the beginner trials, but it might be a good idea to do, but can't be bothered. Now, on the plus side, I'm a Sprout, so people should be fairly understanding about me being complete garbage at this. And I'll be going into my very first dungeon. Good old Sastasha. Oh, that's interesting. I don't remember that being a thing. A big tutorial on what dungeons are. There we go. Yeah, getting a good rest is definitely nice. Let's see how this goes, though. Yeah, I don't remember that being a thing when I first created my character. A big tutorial on dungeons. It is nice that they seem to have made the beginner experience better. I wish I knew how to zoom in properly. What's that? Virtual mouse mode? Oh, that's weird. But that's handy to know. I don't know how to hide the mouse, though. Now that I did... Okay, that's how you take a screenshot. Now let's move that out of the way. I don't know what that is. Anyway. Let's see what I can do. There's not much need of a custom HUD, I guess, in controller mode. At least not yet. I should have... Is it under character? No, right, it was under social. All this effort just to sit. There we go. Yeah, it feels like I'm learning the game for the first time all over again. Just, I know how to play in general. So it won't be a total dead weight. How does this work? Left trigger to left click. Okay, that's gonna be handy. Yeah, I've been sleeping a lot recently. Like Monday was basically didn't happen as I was in bed till 10 p.m. Probably the weather's been raining quite a bit. Yeah, that makes sense. Give me one moment. Just wanted to fix my actual HUD a little bit. I wanted to get them a little bit more out of the way. There. Now I should be back to good. It was actually back during the summer that I tried to do it with a controller, because I figured that was the... It's gonna be weird trying to do stuff with... Okay, that's weird. Let's see if I can figure out how to fight better. That's my first attempt at fighting with this. Yeah, crappy weather always makes you want to just stay in bed and not get up. It's basically that way in Canada the entire winter. Because by 5 it gets dark as it is at night. In most places at like 7. What's going on? Okay, that was weird. You just kind of don't want to get up. So it will take a little bit of getting used to, but kind of makes sense. So that's how you switch like hotbars in my usual setup instead of... Wow, that's a lot of different hotbars. It's good to know that's where all the character menu stuff is. And that's where I'm going to keep my battle stuff. Yeah, that's neat. And inventory. Alright, I need to eventually put that into my armory chest. It's not going to be the best, but... Or at least not for my glamour. It might not be actually too bad. I kind of like it with the monk, but... I recently ended up hitting 50 on all my classes. I wonder if I might end up having to just do it with a trust. Managed to hit at least 50 on all my classes, which means I got a new crown thing. Gonna be slowly working on trying to get every class to 90 so that way I can use it well. Okay, that's weird. It's like my controller just loses connection for a moment. I wonder if it's an issue with my controller itself or something. Where is it? Can't remember how to switch back to my main hotbars. Bumping my camera. Okay, I think my camera is back to where it should be. So I've really been working on Red Mage quite a bit, because I found that to be fairly fun. Ended up doing a bunch of grinding of Crystal Conflict to see if I could hit, or to get that one Virtue Duelist top, which is a very nice glam. I hear somebody mining. I remember working on mining when I first got into the game. It kinda... thought it'd be kinda neat to try some of the Gather Crafter classes at the time, and it's actually the reason why I am getting all the Just 50 I've been trying myself, but DPS leveling takes so long. Yeah, that's... it's mostly the queue times. I still need to get all my healers up. I'm not sure if that's going to be my next project, or if I'm going to go with DPS for my next project, or maybe just work on getting all my tanks up to 90 instead. I'm gonna think of it. Oh, that's how you jump. Oh, I sound new to the game. Yeah, I have my Paladin at 90, my Dark Knight and Gunbreaker at, what was it? 80, and my Warrior is at like 64, I think? Something like that. So I might work on getting those up to 90 first. I've also been slowly enjoying Bard. It feels quite interesting having to manage your songs and stuff. That I've only recently gotten to 60 or 53. That's neat. You can just tap it to switch back. Weird. Trying to get used to controls in the meantime. I'm super impressed that people can, like, savage raid with this. It's like, it feels hard enough having just a full-on hotbar and only having to use shift or control to switch my hotbars I'm using, let alone and switch actually between hotbars to find your abilities. I was hoping this would be a quicker duty finder. In the meantime, maybe I should look at working on some glams or something. Alright, this is how I sprint. Since I'll be teleported back there anyway once I actually get into Sastasha. This kind of reminded me of part of why I ended up switching to Scholar, I believe it was. Or a White Mage to begin with, and then Scholar. Because I just couldn't take the queue times, because at that time it wasn't quite as well thought out. Or I guess a lot worse on DPS, because there were no trusts or anything. Hell, I remember back then, the free trial was like a week of playtime and only like level 30. Oh, there we go. Now, let's see how my first dungeon actually goes. It's been quite a while since I've actually taken in Sastasha properly. It's always been just kind of a slog. Let's see if... Oh, I somehow targeted myself. Yeah, this is definitely going to take some getting used to. Feels weird trying to properly follow up the combos. Especially trying to figure out tab targeting with a controller. That's not how you target stuff. One gun controller. I've never actually really played fighter games. They weren't really my thing. Like I play a little bit of them, but that's more just games that or series that I like that have a fighter game thing. I'm slowly getting the hang of this. I do definitely need to figure out the targeting, but perhaps anyone who can play on a controller can never do it for an MMO. Yeah, that's basically how I am. Right now, the only reason I can even do anything is because I have it set to automatically target the first thing, or the nearest thing when I hit my attacks. Let's see if I can start learning weaving. Or at least as close to weaving as I can get. Positionals are going to definitely be a bit hard, but... Oh yeah, welcome in, Pickle Raff. Forgot to actually say that, because it's kind of focusing on getting this done properly. Wonder if... I can't tell if they're not used to this, or if they played enough to know that they can just skip most of the clams. One thing I like about the controller is you don't have to click to move the camera around. Yeah, that's really nice, actually. Though it makes it a little bit harder because my usual way I move the camera is the same thing I hit all my buttons with. So I'm basically holding down right click the entire time I play. Okay. I'm not entirely sure how to properly switch my targets, so right now I just kind of cancel the target that I'm on and... Alright, I don't know what color it is that we need. And then check. Looks like this one's gonna be just trying everything. It definitely feels awkward. Feels like I've got to have a weird grip on it to actually do anything. Because usually you take your thumb off the movement for a moment to... Okay, how do I target it? Oh well. It shouldn't be too hard, I don't think. And that's the first dungeon boss thing I've fought. That one's a need, and I believe that's a need for me. Kind of makes my fingers a little sore doing this, because... Oh wait, that's how you change your targets, okay. I basically skipped the tutorial, because I was originally doing this in keyboard and mouse. This is feeling really... something. It'd take a lot of work to sort of get to the point of... what was it called? Hey. Okay, I managed to switch my targets manually. And I'm starting to get my rotation proper. Starting to understand how to navigate the menus now, at least. Feels so weird to not feel just like click an enemy and call it done. This actually feels like a little bit of a challenge just because I don't know... I don't have my same experience as I do with keyboard and mouse. So even something simple as a rotation, I now have to actively think about instead of just pressing 1, 2, 3 on my mouse. Feels like it'd be... Yeah, I use a MMO mouse. It was the Razer Naga Hex? Or not Hex, Trinity. It has buttons from 1 through 12 on it. It's super handy. That's why my usual HUD setup is just bars of abilities rather than something fancy. I'm super glad I ended up getting a MMO mouse because I don't know how good I would be in Savage if I had to have all kinds of weird buttons. Like, people can definitely get used to them, but for me, it's just easiest to have muscle memory for my thumb, and really that's about it. And everything else being just hitting shift or control. Now, of course, there's scimitar, it's similar to 12 buttons on the side. Yeah, they're super nice. I eventually need to get a new one since mine is starting to have issues with the clicking, but it still does well enough. I'll probably end up looking at one that doesn't have the swappable side buttons. Yeah, yes, dreaded double clicking. Yeah, it's noticeable when I'm actually in-game doing something. You might see like double shooting or anything like that. Movement must be a breeze. I got a way between moving or weaving a OGCD. Yeah, it is super nice. That's why I can keep up fairly high uptime. Because my pinky is used on my modifier. And then all my other fingers on my keyboard hand are entirely for, what was it called? For movement. I don't know how to... Come on, how do I... There we go. Feels weird using just single target GCDs on enemies still. But overall, I like Razer. They're pretty decent. My first mouse, I think, was a Razer Naga Hex. And that lasted me for a handful of years. It's nice because I can keep my GCDs and OGCDs rolling completely as I move. I find it takes actually less brain power for an MO mouse than... Alright, I don't think I have LB set up. Actually, this would be a perfect spot for our mage to LB, but... Positionals. Yeah, I definitely don't have my limit break on, so... That's a little bit of a shame. Oh, but at least, what? Okay. Healer LB, I guess. I'm definitely gonna need to add LB onto one of my bars, so that way I can keep it at least. There we go. And that's my first dungeon done on a controller. Yeah, I usually still like to... How do I loot? There we go. Alright, how do I... Where is it? Okay, I wasn't sure how to do the commendation. It feels a little weird still trying to navigate the menus, but... Oh, I didn't move out of the way. It's actually might be easier just using virtual mouse. LBR to exit. There we go. Now I can dump some stuff into my glam dresser and armoire. Alright, I have a handful of different glam items. I don't know why I bought a dream tunic, or have one in general. Weird. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stick with this for the boots. Yeah, looks like I'm just gonna stick with this, and then I should have... How do I do this? Because Hrothgar's don't really have much in terms of headgear. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad on Hroth. Ooh, that feels so weird. It moves way too fast. Still need to do the event? It's actually a really neat event, too. I'm sure you saw in... Discord, all the people sharing their experience with the event. Actually... I got Grave Misfortune on my main as well. We're in the recommended gear. My PF has been so bad recently. Let's see. Oh, there's still quests I have to do. I forgot about that. I've seen this like 3 or 4 times. I think that's just PF. I haven't heard good things about PF, so that would make sense. Oh, I don't have that as a location either. That's interesting. Yeah, I got Grave Misfortune on main, which I'm not sure what that means. But apparently it is really the year of the rabbit, because my... what was it? Primal alt ended up getting... what was it? Great Fortune? I think? Alright, I don't even have a Chocobo. Yeah, I tried it on basically all my alts. Just see what I get. I just stuck with my usual outfit that I wear. I end up going with that sort of suit look for my character whenever I run that. I always like to run the Heaven's Turn as Samurai, even though it doesn't change anything. Just because it's kind of thematic, I feel anyway. Where... Oh, I shouldn't have jumped down here. For some reason, I always prefer to put my character in glams that look more proper, I guess. Because, like, my main is an adventurer through and through. So I sort of go with glams that fit that idea. The only times I don't is, like, summer events or something. Like when we did, what was it, P2S, I think was the sewer? LB and, oh. I thought it was over here. That's the problem with using a controller for it. Feels more tedious to try to move the map. Eastern Thanalan. Oops. I should probably attune to Drybone as well. I end up finishing up the, what was it called? The quest line of the Alliance Raid. Because I ended up not actually finishing it once I got through the Alliance Raid. Because at the time I was getting close to burnt out on 14 and just kind of put it off to the side. But now I'm ready for the run of the new A raid when it comes out. Completely blind with a group of people who are also blind. Definitely looking forward to it. I was very glad that the previous one ended up basically having my character's patron deity be the center point of the first set of A raid. It'll be fun to watch. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I'm not sure what sort of glam I'll end up using for it, or if there's even going to be a theme, maybe. It's kind of interesting. We keep going from basically the pits of the Seven Hells to the Seven Heavens. Basically bungee jumping. Okay, how do I lock onto that? Anyone in cult robes again? I don't remember. Oh yeah, I do. I guess I have the robes somewhere. I'm not sure what that... Oh. Oh, there's my... I didn't remember what ability that was. Was it Boot Shine? Yep. It's gonna be... It's kind of interesting. I've always gone for similar setups for all my characters, so like 5 will be my AoE, and so on. And just trying kind of try to standardize it. But going with this, I have to see, keep the spirit alive. I basically have to actually learn from scratch how to play it. Because even going to a class I don't really know, the fact that I standardize the controls a bit means I can generally pick up and play a class I haven't played in a long time and have a rough idea of how to play it. Which is quite handy in the end. I have to beat the crap out of this old guy. Yeah, I remember a bit of the story, but not a ton. Sir. Just squaring up against a big flying man. It does feel kind of fitting to have this guy be a monk. Just because, what's better than punching a god in the face, I guess? Because we do fight gods. Who needs swords and weapons and all that kind of stuff? Just doing a little practice of weaving. For some reason, I'm always iffy about doing healers, or at least nowadays. Because I've been out of playing healer for so long that I'd basically be relearning how to heal in like level 50 content. So go with the goat skin guards. Yeah. Okay, so these are around the same. I definitely want to get into learning melee. But after all this time of being... Oh, give me 1 second. How do I get back to my character thing? Ah, there it is. I think I'll just throw this back on. I think I prefer it. Yeah, I think it'd be neat to try... I have to go this way. Try melee DPS and Savage, but... I'm also branching out by trying Fizz ranged last time. Where do I go? Oh, I have to go back this way. Whoops. You lose fun. Reading GCD and positionals makes you feel alive. Yeah, probably take a while to get used to the positionals and stuff, but seems neat. And some of the weapons look really neat too. Most of my experience in damage dealing is being super mobile and hitting stuff no matter where I am. But from what I remember, they made it a lot easier to hit the enemies in Savage now. At least compared to what it used to be. I kind of want to buy the Emperor's New Fists, but that'd probably end up being most of my money on the market board. So I'm going to wait until I get a little bit more money before I do that. Do I have this attuned? Yes, I do. Which also means I can double check. Yeah, I'm so used to being able to just do whatever from any range, really. It's part of why I kind of want to try to learn tank as well in Savage. Basically, at this point, I want to learn everything that I haven't done in Savage yet. Because I haven't tanked, I haven't done melee, and I haven't done healing, though I don't know how I do in healing. Honestly, the only high-end experience I have in terms of rating is... what was it? Let me check the price on the fists. I'm not going to try and type it on the controller. Yeah, it's going to be out of the price range. It's worth a check. Yeah, it's weird. Savage has become fun to me. Like, I never really expected that. It's just like, yeah, I go in, do my raid, do the sort of thing that I thought only the highest tier of people could do, and do it average, at least, to the point where I want to try and learn other classes in it, where just getting through it isn't enough satisfaction to me. Maybe I should get a little bit more practice. Yeah, it's weird. The only high-end experience I'll have for healer is Ultimate, despite having no experience running healer in Savage. I don't know about this. I haven't tried anything other than melee, and I gotta play Dance this Friday for my new group. Good luck with it. It doesn't seem like it's too hard. The main thing is just keeping an eye on your cooldowns and stuff. I end up making a whole separate HUD to be able to keep an eye on my cooldowns. The opener is also definitely something you have to get used to. Being originally a summoner main, my opener consisted of pre-pull cast, Pop Bahamut to basic attacks. Pot, usually Addle. Another one. No, wait, nah. Starting with the pre-pull, Summon Bahamut, the 2 normal attacks, raid-wide damage up, and Addle. Another attack, my Pot. Attack with my 2 high damage abilities, and then from there it's just a basic rotation. Instead, you have to weave in like 6 things per cast, basically, or so it feels. Because for Dancer, I believe it's pre-pull about 15 seconds before, with starting your dance. You pop your dance as soon as it goes, pop your party-wide dance, and then you have to weave in like 5 different things in between short attack cooldowns. Takes a lot of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad. Because I was able to get it down after only probably a day or 2 of alt job practice. So it shouldn't be that bad. But I prefer to stick with Summoner in terms of any sort of actual prog. It's actually the class that I first did an extreme on. Yeah, my first Savage on. Because at the time, I wasn't able to get myself to do even extremes, but some members of his community basically dragged me into it. It's like, hey, you wanted to eventually learn how to do extremes, right? And I said, you know what? I'll try it. And Summoner was the only one I really had up to that level at that point. And then they kind of just brought me into my first Savage, which gave me enough confidence to at least try progging. Because P1S was easy enough that someone new to, like, completely blind and brand new to it could at least be carried through with good enough callouts and a team that knows what they're doing. Yeah, and that got me geared up as best as I could. At least relatively geared up on Summoner, because that's when I got the X2 book. And some pretty good gear on Summoner. And basically, that was the only one that I felt was geared up enough to try the other Savages. And from there, became a Summoner main that was able to clear a Savage on tier week 1, which still feels incredible to me, being able to do something like that. Like, a week 1 thing is something that I would have expected, at best, being able to do personally. Like, my own abilities being able to be on par with that would be, like, next expansion, instead of second time doing a tier. I'm definitely looking forward to when the drops become unlocked. That's not how I jump. Probably gonna have to go around this way. Oh, no, I can't really, I guess. See how easily I can sneak behind people. If I get seen, I will have to fight. Because I can't take two enemies at once. Why are they so high level? This was supposed to be for a low level. Let's see, I can go around back. Yeah, crap, one saw me. Let's see if I can put distance for myself behind this. That's how he has to approach me. Solid Snake, I am not. Feels weird trying to just sneak. There we go. And striking dummies down. And I'm fine spending a little gil so I don't have to deal with all these enemies. So I'm actually quite looking forward to what the next tier might be in terms of Savage. Since I quite enjoyed the difficulty of the current tier. And from what I've seen, the final tier of the last one was very difficult. Hope we don't get another P7S. I enjoyed P7S, honestly. It was definitely difficult, but there we go. Ooh. Oh, right. Cross-class used to be a thing, so I guess it kind of makes sense that a monk might be able to use Cure. Yeah, considering how hard it was to understand E12S, even unsynced. I'm really curious how P12S might be. 'Cause it has to be the most difficult of the tier. No P6 either? I also kind of enjoyed P6. Though the only real difficult part was... Actually, no, I shouldn't be able to... I shouldn't say that. Because I wouldn't have been able to do it without callouts, because I can figure out the safe zones, but I can't figure them out fast enough. So I definitely needed callouts to do it, but the actual personal responsibility mechanics were fairly easy. Especially with our uptime strat felt pretty good that we used in the static. Once we got used to... where is it? What am I throwing on? There's on the Sorrel. Hey. I learned how to put stuff on properly. And quicker. Alright, so... MSQ. I wonder what Grand Company I'll go with this time. I'm also going for dodgy, fast type mechanics with lots of optimization to do and less solvy mechanics. I'm not sure what I'm looking forward to. Because to a degree it eventually gets easy, I guess. Cause like there's just a point when it sort of clicks and I can understand all the solvable mechanics. Like I just kind of get what to do for P8S Part 2 and Part 1. But my reaction speed isn't the greatest, I don't think, so I don't think it'd be quite as good as that. Actually, were any of the other any of the other Pandemoniums like that? I think more mechanics like the ones from Barbaricia? Oh yeah, those weren't actually too bad. I remember getting a pretty humbling experience in there, though. With the static getting a little bit of work on getting the Barbaricia weapons for alts. And basically got to, due to the fact that we were nearing best in slot, we ended up getting a bit arrogant when we took like no damage from a raid wide. And that's when we learned you can't get complacent in an on-level extreme. Because then we got stomped like 5 or 6 times. Then we learned, well yeah, really gotta respect the mechanics even for taking like no damage from raid wides. It was certainly something. That's when I sort of came to the concept of hubris as my passive. Because I was the first one to say, yeah, we're too good for damage. These are too easy. And that's when we started getting destroyed. Utai. Yeah, I never end up thinking that I'd be so invested in Savage. Love doing that. It's funny whoever jinxes us. Yeah, that's why I consider hubris to really be my passive. Because I'll get confident for one moment, and then that's when everything kinda goes to crap. Let's see, where do I go? Oh, this way. Basically, don't taunt the boss. Yeah, it's weird being into the higher end stuff. Because I remember specifically being like Mordona, just finishing up Endwalker, and thinking, or finishing up the Endwalker first patch and seeing people running around with Savage Gear and being just kind of thinking, wow, this is amazing stuff. Kind of stuff I'll never be able to do. Now I'm at the point where I'm like, ooh, I wonder if this is going to be difficult. What kind of mechanics they're going to give us. Can't jump up there. That's annoying. There we go. So Tamtara is next. But I should attune here. Been a little while since I've attuned to these places. I'm trying to decide if I should stick with Paladin for my Endwalker, or if I should switch to Reaper. Yeah, I never thought I'd be doing Savage. Thought my Java was going to screw me over time. Screw me over on time, because my previous show was brutal. Yes, Savage is definitely a commitment, but being able to make time for it and just having fun, even if you end up needing to take a long time to get through it, just feels good to clear something that's some of the hardest stuff in the game. I'd never even been one for like super bosses in games or anything. Like I could never beat the data organization in Kingdom Hearts, or had to be in like easy mode to beat any of the secret fights in most games. So at the time, I used to always be a very casual gamer. Never been big into competitive type stuff, but like high end anything really. I feel like with 14 it's all the flex to do yeah, to do hardcore content. No, I don't want to do with the NPCs. Yeah, it is a flex because the glamour. The glamour is just so good for the Savage content. So it's not just going for the best gear, it's also going for the best looking gear. And it makes it worth it to go back into older high-end content, both for the challenge and the flexing the gear of it. Like, I absolutely love that one Alexander tank coat, which I now have for my main on my warrior, and on my one Vanadian alt. It's kind of weird to have like three or four of them now. Yeah, because it looks so good dyed red. I had to run it solo. I think it was Aetas the coat comes from. Yeah, I even remember being in awe of people with the Extreme 2 gear. With just the... like the books or the scythe, that kind of stuff, and I was just like in awe of those people who did it. Honestly, if it weren't for the static, I definitely wouldn't have gotten into hardcore content. Q-tip white mage staff. I think I know what one you're talking about. Yeah, if not for the static, I definitely wouldn't have had the confidence to even try it. I still wouldn't go into, like, Party Finder or anything. I'm not quite that confident, but doing it in general. What's this? Ether. Neat. Not gonna lie, Party Finder is both fun and a headache. That's understandable. I did go a few times into Extreme 3 Party Finder. Oddly enough, the ones that were for clears, always a mess. Going in for... I just went into one where somebody was trying to learn and get their first clear, and we cleared in like 2 pulls. Seemingly going for re-clears, have people who don't know what they're doing, and for people who want to get their first clear, people who know what they're doing flock in. Yeah, I definitely can't do... I can't do it without callouts, because there's some things my mind just takes too long to figure out. Like those lines in P6S. For the most part, I can figure out stuff on my own, but even then, it's better just to have callouts, because even if the callouts might be wrong occasionally, I'd still be able to usually figure that out myself. I hope to one day be able to do it full Party Finder strats and just do a Savage with no callouts, but still one step at a time on that. It's been quite fun seeing familiar faces in P8S, absolutely rage-inducing when you go into a party for P2 but can't make it past 4 folds. I still gotta get... I still gotta... Oh, still gotta get used to callouts. I've been mostly a solo player until recently. Yeah, I can't do it without callouts, because... like I said, my brain is just a little bit too slow on some of the mechanics, and it's better to have somebody who knows those mechanics. Like, I can probably figure them out if a callout is missed or called wrong, but it's a lot more scuffed that way for me. I'm more likely to make mistakes. Yeah, having callouts is super helpful, because, I mean, without callouts, I wouldn't have been able to go from blind to my very first clear of P1S. Because, yeah, I went into that completely blind. Never having done... never even seeing the fight. And we managed it. The main thing about callouts is having somebody who's really good at them and quick and clear. And also being able to react them. Because sometimes I'll still miss callouts and almost screw things up, but maybe I should just go with NPCs, but I really don't want to. I need gear. Yeah, I'm super curious about what the next boss will be like. Sure, haven't gone through multiple stacks, but this is my first year, you really feel the difference. Yeah, it's definitely handy. Because you can focus more on your rotation as well if you have good callouts. Because you can know what mechanics that somebody's going to call out and keep half an eye on them instead of focusing completely on them and solving them in your head. Because learning stuff, my rotation completely falls to shambles. Or even if I have to change something small in it, like using a swift cast for progress, will end up with my rotation completely in shambles because I use it in a different spot for my rotation. Basically, to me, Savage is almost like a dance, where once something is thrown off even slightly, the entire thing feels completely different, and I basically have to try and figure out how to get back on track. Alright, do I have any other abilities? Not that one. No, just Arm of the Destroyer. And that's probably not going to be usable in this dungeon. I think the only one that has any AoE are ranged and tanks in this low level. Ah, there we go. This will be my second dungeon. If the tank readies up. Go on. Kind of feels weird talking about Savage raiding while waiting in queue for the second dungeon of the game. The auto-translate function is very nice. Yeah, I can only stay so much before it becomes all static in my head. And learn rotation at the same time. Sometimes the pink spikes and it kills both me and my rotation. There's an auto-translate in this game? Kinda. When you hit tab while you're typing something, it will auto-translate that word into any official language in the game. So that way, if like somebody speaks Japanese and they type in hello in Japanese, hit tab and enter, it will automatically send hello in English and whatnot. So it's not proper translation, but it's basically send this specific message to everyone in, and it'll automatically translate it if it's in the library of the game, I guess. Oops. Yeah, it's super handy because I can at least say hello to people on Elemental, because I always like to say hello at the beginning of dungeons, in the GGs and stuff. Their Japanese version of GG? Yeah, they have a good game as one of the options for auto-translate. Right, I have positionals I need to do. It feels weirder on controller, so I have to actually pay attention to my movements. It's kind of interesting that they never actually updated any of these enemies' abilities in the game. So you still have things like End Thunder and whatnot. Uh, and it does literally nothing now that there's no elemental stuff. It's kind of weird now that I think about it that they got rid of the... how do I... Ah, there we go. I still kind of want to collect some of the discontinued elemental materia just because. One moment. Had to sneeze. Meld onto your bis. I don't even know if you can meld it onto anything. Though it's actually does remind me it'll be a good idea to extract materia from low-level gear. Because level 1 materia are surprisingly expensive. Just because of the relics. Because you have to meld a bunch of stuff, of low-level stuff. Yeah, there's something just neat about owning stuff that you can't get anymore. It's why I still have so many... I was about to ask why I was tanking, but I guess I'm not exactly a stranger to that. Good old suffering from success. Still hoarding material because I'll eventually start grinding relics. Yeah, I need to eventually work on that. I'm at the book stage of 2 of my relics. I eventually hope to get that done because I'm working on the warrior relic. I also have my scholar relic, but I kind of gave up on that around the time I stopped doing a lot of scholar. Unfortunately, I don't have arm's length. Yeah, I'll eventually need to work on that. I still want to work on more relics, because they just look good in glam. Unfortunately, the ARR stuff feels like the biggest slog. Because, like, what was it? The Heavensward one wasn't too bad. Haven't even finished Hildy for this X-Max Relics. I've managed to at least finish Hildebrand. Honestly, I finished Hildebrand because I just enjoyed it. The only thing that's annoying about that is you have to finish it off on multiple characters just to get the relic. As much as I like Hildebrand, it is annoying to have to go back through it if I want to get that done on another character. I plan on mostly keeping my relic grind to one character, which is my main. I'm slowly getting the hang of this controller thing. Still feels weird playing MMO on a controller, but it is what it is. Oh right, I should have thrown on my limit break. Where is limit break under? Oops, I threw on the wrong spot, but whatever. At least I do know how to actually do these fights. Yeah, since I screwed up my one thing. As soon as these guys are down, I can pop LB. I don't even really need the relics anyway, but I'm actually pretty close to my 8th week. There we go. I don't need any of this stuff. Yeah, eventually I need to work on more relics. Like, I need to work on a Shadowbringer relic for ultimate weapon, but I've just been kinda trying to keep myself from getting too burnt out and only really logging on for raids and stuff at the time. For the past 3 or 4 months. But now I'm getting back to actually wanting to play the game again. Oops, hit my mic. So I can start working on that again. Since from what I've heard, it's not too big a deal of getting Biss, as long as you sync. Shadowbringer must be brutal since a lot of the Bozia stuff is down in life support. Yeah, it probably is. But from what I understand, Ultimate Weapon Ultimate is more a test of mechanics rather than a test of damage and everything. It's mostly just, can you skip certain phases rather than can you beat the phases before Enrage. My gil is going up fairly nicely. That's handy. I believe this next mission should be fairly easy. I'm just about... Yeah, our next reclear will be... What's this? Demolish? Alright, I need to fix my actions and traits. I'll throw that on 2. Then actions. Meditation goes there. There we go. I don't have Forgotten Springs. I do have a little Alamigo. Alright, I need to go in my inventory. Those should be... yeah, more or less the same from the looks of it. I probably need to grab more water soon. Alright, back to MSQ. It is kind of nice that this is still eligible for the bonus experience. So I don't have to worry about that throttling of having lost a bunch of quests. So you kind of have to do a small bit of leveling on your own. Oh yeah, it's level 17 stuff. I'm gonna be on my 3rd dungeon already. Where do I go? Alright. Yeah, as soon as I get to the next dungeon point, I will quickly grab some more water. My throat's starting to get a little bit sore. That short vacation wasn't great for my ability to talk for long periods of time. Sadly. Let's see... Stone Torch. Man, the old gear doesn't look great. Which is a shame. I would like... rather would wish that the older gear would look better. Because as it is, I kind of have to stick with some lower quality stuff. Or not lower quality, some starter stuff. More common. I'll be right back while I quickly grab a little bit more water. Alright, I'm back. So in terms of relics, I honestly think that the Heavensward ones are some of the best. Let's see, Party of Others. Yeah, I got I already finished 2 of my favorite relics, which were... What level is this? Okay, that's for 26. This is level 17, so I won't have my AoE yet. The Astral one I haven't seen yet. But 2 of my favorites are the Summoner one. Like, you straight up, basically Bahamut's wings coming out of your book, which is amazing. And the Dark Knight one, which, personally, I think might be one of the best for Dark Knight weapons in general. I need to keep working on some more of them. Whenever my poetics get too high, I just buy, like, an identifiable bones or whatever. Which is a pretty nice sync for basic poetics. I might actually have to look at some of them. I can just tab out while I wait, since I have it set to ping me when that goes on. Let's see. Gonna lurk while I grind tomes. Good luck with stream. Thank you for the lurk, Fire's Edge. Enjoy your grind. And I just let my poke pile up and lose out. Yeah, I used to do that, but then I started grinding for a relic and realized, oh man, I should have bought that stuff already. And after that, I started spending them whenever I think I'm getting full. Heavensward Relics. Yeah, the Anima relics might be my favorite relics in general. Though it did make me end up hating Brayflock's Longstop hard. Because I did like 40 runs of it unsynced. And it kind of made me hate it. Just from running it so much. I can mute this. It was definitely annoying. I don't remember what step I'm on for Paladin, but I started working on it when I went with a sort of half dark, half light thing. Actually, the Dragoon one looks pretty neat. But I kind of wanted something that looked very much a light aspected weapon to go along with the Shadowbringer shield. Sort of an actual balance of light and dark. Actually, it makes me really curious about how the Paladin rework's going to be. Since I remember Paladin used to originally be the quote-unquote ranged tank, with the magic phase being good for when you had to move away from the boss and whatnot, but now that melee has a lot more uptime in high-end content nowadays, it doesn't have as much of that personality. Because you just kind of sit in melee range using your magic point blank. Yeah, one brings shadow, one brings light, so kind of went trying to go with a light sword and a shadow shield. So I just thought that'd be really neat. But yeah, right now I'm just checking out the Heavensward Relic weapons off the side while waiting for the queue. A bit of a shame, but in terms of warrior axes, not a lot of them seem perfect to me, like with other classes might have. Well, maybe one of the steps of the warrior one looks decent. But the only one that really called to me was the Zeta for warrior. Because for warrior, I want an impractically sized giant axe. But the relics don't seem to quite give that. They give it a large axe, but not quite impractical. I mean, for me, warrior has always been huge axe. But there aren't a ton of perfectly huge axes, or so I find, in terms of relics. I end up actually going with the Zervanite axe. Specifically, the non-glowy one, because I much prefer it as is. Yeah, the paladin stuff is alright, but I don't know. The final tier looks pretty good, actually. And I already have the Summoner, which is probably my favorite Summoner book of all. The Mimesis Lux. The big purple Bahamut wings coming out of the book is just so cool. And it can be used really well for a G pose as well, giving a look of wings on someone. I do actually like the animated elements for Scholar, because it fits so well with the sort of almost steampunk look. Hoping for a giant practical shield for the Pally? Yeah, it'd be kind of neat to have a giant shield instead of the smaller realistic ones. Like a big tower shield. Oh. Oops. What am I doing? There we go. I'm gonna have to switch my tab back. I lost my tab for a minute because I was checking out a thing on another tab. But I really can't think of a shield that would be considered impractical, really. It's like even a tower shield is practical, and it would basically cover most of the paladin. Aw, darn it. There we go. That's better. Oops. I'm starting to get used to the rotation on a controller. Still, it makes me really impressed by people that use this as default. It's really neat that they decided to make MMO that works on both console and PC. I could never have seen myself playing this on console, but still, just the fact that it's an option is really neat. You know, I'm kind of curious what Femoroth will look like. Right, this one I think we just run past. Yeah, that was weird seeing this game on PS4 way back. Yeah, I never would have picked it up on PS4 because for me, MMOs are always a PC thing. I wouldn't have been able to fathom how to play on a controller at the time. I used to actually play a lot of PS3 back in the day. I remember I quite liked Call of Duty. So to me, at the time, console games were always like shooters or whatnot. Never really considered this. Hell, I barely considered it on PC, because at the time I was definitely not an MMO person. I never would have imagined an MMO would probably become one of my favorite games of all time as it is now. I mean, this beats out any other game I have. Yeah, COD was something. It was a game of all time. But yeah, it feels weird that a game... Like, I tried MMOs quite a few times back in the day. But none of them really stuck with me. But this was just perfect. I'm super glad I gave it another try, because, like I said, it is my favorite game of all time. Beating out any other game I've ever played. And I used to be very much not a fan of MMOs. Cause, like, I tried World of Warcraft at one point. But it just didn't stick with me. Because I only played it like 10 levels and then got kind of tired of it. Though I did try a MMO called Riders of Icarus, which was pretty fun. But I kind of dropped it because it still had the WoW trappings of you gotta log in every day to actually do anything. And being free to play, I'm pretty sure it had those trappings of FTP MMOs. Oops. Yeah, I dropped the game back in ARR. God, the ARR story was real slog as a new person. Try a bunch of Korean MMOs. It's always combat is fun, but holy shit, the progression and cash shop. Yeah, I know that feeling. I have Black Desert Online. I've only played a couple hours of it, but always felt like it'd be way too much grind. There's something about them that just puts me off. I only can really play one grindy game, which is Warframe. Because despite how grindy it is, Warframe is really good. You never really feel pressured to pay money. Because it doesn't feel like you're getting locked out of progression or anything. I've only ever actually spent money on Warframe because I wanted to. Yeah, I've never been one for grind for the most part. It needs to be a really fun grind that feels rewarding. I'm trying to think if there were any other MMOs I tried that I didn't mind. I can't really think of any. Oops, I forgot to charge that. Oops. I've never been a fan of games where it feels like you have to play every day. Because at that point, you're not playing a game, you're just doing an unpaid job. And what's the point in that, I figure? Games are meant to be fun. Something you do to get away from work and everything. This feels a lot quicker than usual. Oops. Oh, this feels weird trying to move like that. This is the final boss, though. We don't even get up to limit break. That was it. I could have sworn this was a whole lot harder. Apparently that's what the rework did. Yeah, I've always found as soon as something becomes something that you have to grind, it just drives me off. Some people like just watching numbers go up as they do a tedious job, but as soon as it becomes tedium, I drop it. And I always like to have a feeling of actual progression, not treadmill progression. Because a lot of MMOs have that thing where you have to log in every day to keep up with everyone, instead of making actual progress. Because, like, with 14, you get BIS, then you wait for the next drop. You don't have to log in every day after getting BIS. Like, if I wanted, I could just log out, stop playing until the next patch, and log in when I want to start playing and not feel like I'm miles behind everyone that I was caught up with. Which I know WoW has a big problem with. I enjoy watching numbers go up, I just play a cookie clicker. Exactly, and that's the appeal of idle games. Like, I can get that. I play cookie clicker a lot back in the day, but I enjoy cookie clicker because it didn't require my attention and didn't feel like I was having to do something. I think I remember this. I believe this is the first time we meet some of the Scions, so I kind of want to re-watch this. Yeah. First time I think we really got to show off that we have the Echo. I look so out of place, don't I? Surprise, giant tiger man. Honestly, I'm surprised these guys are gonna be willing to actually do anything when I jump in front. I mean, look, my character looks like he could throw the Rogadin around like a doll. Actually, I think Hrothgar might be a little bit bigger than Rogadin. We're about the same size. Yeah. Oh wow, that was just a one shot. I don't know why, it was just fun. These sorts of scenes. I don't remember much about my first playthrough of the early game. I think I ended up skipping a lot of cutscenes back in the day, but mostly that was a lot of back and forth, point A to point B. And the combat being fairly slow. That made me really drop it back then. Because it felt like it would be the same chore slog. Just with not as good combat. This is Thancred. Kind of neat seeing him now, knowing how far the Silence have come in Endwalker. Might end up near the end of this. Actually, kind of reminds me, I really thought the anniversary event where you show around a new adventure was really neat. Azure, welcome in. How's your day been? Pray return to the Waking Sands. If you're just tuning in, I'm working on my Elemental Alt on a controller, which has been an experience to say the least. I'm slowly getting used to the controller, but still feels very awkward. Woke up a bit ago, doing well, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I'm doing quite good. I've managed to do 3 dungeons on a controller so far. It has felt very awkward, but I'm slowly getting the hang of it. Definitely not gonna, like, become something I do regularly. This is just gonna stay as a one-off thing from being a reward, but... Don't you feel any latency issues? Not really, because I'm slow to press stuff anyway. No, not really any issues, because... I guess there is... slight latency, maybe? Not enough for me to notice. Because I usually press my buttons before I need to. Oh! I don't really feel any latency issues with the game server. But then I'm not really doing much of a... I'm going the wrong way. Much... what was it? Weaving. Actually, I'm sure what my ping is. You have your head round? Yeah, I'll be alright. Yeah, I don't have most many real latency issues. I mean, I have pretty good internet. Even with the distance of the server, it feels pretty responsive. It doesn't really feel any different from playing on NA right now, which is weird. I actually don't even know how I'd get in using a controller. That's not how I jump. For some reason, though, JP servers are further than EU, they feel more responsive? Huh. It's actually interesting to know. I don't think my ping is too high on it. I don't know how I'd check that, though. Like, check my actual ping. That doesn't tell me anything. I don't have... Oh, maybe I can check the... Wait until you do frontline, you'll love the JP frontlines. I'll keep an eye on that, because I still need to get into PvP, I guess, on this account. Because I do like the glams from it. But I haven't played frontline in ages. I've only really done Crystal Conflict. Let's see. Nothing good. Oh, 12 Vesperate tickets. I don't know if that was the right one. So organized. Well, I know the NA ones are a complete mess even if you try to coordinate them. Moving markers, attack retreat commands. Yeah, in NA NA is like trying to herd cats. You can tell them where to go, you can give them all the information in the world, and it'll basically be the same as random AI. I'm about going on my JP Alt again to help Japanese for my JP trip. That's actually a neat idea. I could never try to speak another language. I have a hard enough time managing to speak fluently English, as I'm sure you can hear from me stumbling over my words still. You use auto-translate mostly? Yeah, I noticed that. A lot of... I've been using auto-translate as well, but yeah, I found most of the dungeon things are just auto-translate hellos and goodbyes and stuff. I don't really tend to talk a ton in dungeons anyways, just the usual hellos and goodbyes. Where am I going? Oh, over there. LB... Wait, LB Arby? Okay, there we go. Probably end off the stream with my dailies or something? Actually, maybe I should do leveling roulette on this one. I don't know. I do hope to actually fully stream my playthrough of the actual MSQ of the next patch. Give me just a moment. I hope to... Alright, I need that. Yeah, stream the update once it comes out, because I haven't streamed any of my actual MSQ stuff before. Because I started streaming after 6.2, I think it is, that we're in? Or are we in 6.3? Whatever patch that we're in is when I started streaming, so there's really not much that I would be able to stream me going through. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing an MSQ. Alright, I have to go this way. Wee, corpses. Alright, I think there's one I have to pretend to be something. Can't wait to see Zero. Yeah, Zero's been quite interesting, actually. Very Vothry-like in terms of the theory behind it. Being touched by the force of darkness, this time instead of the light of a warden, and somehow being able to properly control it. Oh, apparently I went the wrong way. Yeah, the lore of the 13th Shard is really neat. At least I think it's the 13th. Yeah, let's speak with people. That's why I'm wondering if I should stick with Paladin, or if I should try switching over to Reaper for MSQ. It makes you wonder what happened on the other shards. I'm hoping we'll eventually get to see them. Because like, they'd probably be based on some other Final Fantasies. Like, I remember, I think it was the first was based loosely on the first Final Fantasy. Of course, with capping it off with fighting the Warrior of Light himself, the original designed Warrior of Light. So yeah, it'd be neat to see other shards and what they'd be based off of. It actually makes me kind of wonder about something. Is if they actually listen to the fans in Riyadh Final Fantasy to Kingdom Hearts, if they might add some 14 stuff to it. I think the MSL hinted at FF10 thing at the end. Endwalker? What thing would that have been? I basically 14 is the only Final Fantasy I have played in full except for Crisis Core. So a lot of these references kind of go over my head. Trying to remember what 10 was. Sacred Site of the Islands of the South. Huh. Yeah, I don't know much about those. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts is my only real intro in Final Fantasy, and then I kind of got into Crisis Core. I have played Remake of 7, but I never finished any other Final Fantasies except for 14, so... Fits the description of Final Fantasy X when you had to go from island to island and get you her summons. Huh. That's really neat. Yeah, kind of forget that summons in other Final Fantasies are actual things you go for rather than things you fight. Most of my experience with summons is Crisis Core, where would recommend Final Fantasy X, one of the best Final Fantasy games out there. I'll keep that in mind if I end up going and trying some of the other Final Fantasies. Ideally, I would like to play through some of them, but I've never been big into RPGs, like turn-based RPGs, so... which Which way am I going? I'm lost. Oh, I have to go this way. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep 10 in mind. I don't know a ton about any of the Final Fantasies besides 14, but I have a rough idea of some of the characters and lore. 7 will probably be one of the first ones I'll actually try to complete, though. I am looking forward to when Remake is finished, because I'd like to play it all as one thing. Though Remake, if I remember correctly, is its own thing compared to 7. So I'd probably end up going through, what was it called? That one Remake project. That's going to include the entire compilation of Final Fantasy 7. Because I'm really curious about, what was it called? The one where you play as one of the Turks. Probably finish the other FF games by the time Remake finishes completely. Yeah, it is definitely going to take a while, I'm sure. Which is annoying, but it is what it is. Let's see. Oh, that's neat. Items. Equip. That's not as good as what I have. That's actually worse than what I have. But now I don't look great. Seems like every game New Era touches gets years added to development time. Yeah, basically, because, I mean, Kingdom Hearts 3 was like over 10 years after Kingdom Hearts 2. And a billion spin-offs on a billion different consoles. Just like Final Fantasy 7. And, yeah. Oh, hey, another Hrothgar. That's kind of unexpected. Yeah, I am looking forward to that one 15 Nights Start Over 2. Yeah, that was a weird thing. That, I'm pretty sure, is why it was a complete mess by the time it released. It sort of had the 14 problem, but they didn't have Yoshi P to reboot it well enough. And end up having to rush what would have been, what might have been a great game. I mean, Kingdom Hearts was a great game. Okay, I have to go here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the one where you can play as a Turk, which was originally a flip phone only game, which was weird. I remember it was thought to basically be a lost game. So the fact that it's going to be playable is really, really cool. So I've always found the 7 lore to be really neat. At least what I know of it. Let's see. Alright, I could have thrown on my glam. I keep forgetting that safe zones are places you can throw glamour on. Yeah, I remember 15 was supposed to be like versus 13 or whatever. And basically, Nomura's trying to throw what he wanted to make for versus 13 into Kingdom Hearts with the whole Yozora thing. And it's weird, to say the least. Like, I love Kingdom Hearts, but God, it has become such a confusing mess. I'm still gonna play the next one as soon as it comes out, though. It's just gonna be a confusing mess that I'll enjoy. Like, as soon as they went to a gacha game for lore, I kinda stopped paying much attention to the lore. Like, I haven't done any of the Dark Road or uh, any of that sort of stuff. Kinda cool how they incorporate the plays of the gacha into Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh, the players of the gacha. Yeah, that was neat, at least. Seeing all the names pop up as you were doing something. Kind of made me wish I stuck with the game at least enough to be able to get my name in there. At least my character's name, which would have been obviously Random Canadian. Yeah, I remember actually trying to get into it when it came out, but for some reason gacha never really stuck with me. It's just having to roll randomly for your stuff. Just I know it's supposed to hook people, but it drove me away. So I prefer to have something I can just straight up grind for and know I will eventually get, instead of having to randomly roll and hoping I get it. It's like with Warframe, you redo the same mission over and over until you get the thing, and you know that will always be one of the rewards. But with something, yeah, like Genshin or that Kingdom Hearts gacha, you just save up pulls, you throw your pulls, and you hope that you get what you want. And if you don't, you either pay money or you give up on it. Gambling can be fun, but for it to be part of your progression is just something that's not my kind of thing. Oh, this is Anchored. Where am I going? Ah, right here. Yeah, it's also part of why I didn't really get much into Genshin. I tried it back when it came out and it was kind of neat, but yeah, just the idea that I didn't have as much say in my progression as something that is designed to take your money. Yes. Yeah, that's why I like Warframe's system, because, like I said, you can run the same mission over and over, and you know you will eventually get the thing, and not have to pay money for each time you try to do the mission. I like how Genshin plays like an actual video game, though. Yeah, that is neat. I remember when it was brand new, I tried it back then. I remember I got some sort of special kite thing, or glider or whatever. Because I tried it very early on, before I dropped it. Yeah, it's definitely one of the neater gotchas. But to me, a gotcha is a gotcha, so that's why I dropped it. Though I guess, like I said, you could consider Warframe almost a gotcha, but yeah. Where am I going? Ah, there it is. I think I'll stick with Palace of the Dead bags as my choice of gambling. It's actually part of why I don't really like loot boxes. 'Cause I like knowing I can get... How do I... Yeah, right, like this. There... At some point I really need to try to expand my choice of games. It's like, I love this game, but I don't love MMOs. And I like some first-person shooters, but I don't like competitive first-person shooters, and it's kind of a weird mix of games. You have to do this to get back that. I tried out High on Life. I haven't, but I've heard it's Justin Roiland, so it's going to be a lot of characters that don't know how to shut up and will constantly talk every 30 seconds about basically like the worst part of an obnoxious streamer. Yeah, it's basically a trademark of Justin Roiland at this point to ramble on and not just let a joke die. Or just try to cram as many pop culture references into a single rambling sentence as possible. An entire game of being stuck with that just drive me absolutely crazy. Right, I should probably gear up properly again. Yeah, I think most of... Oh, I do have to switch that. Yeah, for sure I can only really drive my brains completely off. Yeah, there are games like that. Alright, I do actually need to switch to my... Where is it? Honestly, what I mostly enjoy is multiplayer games, because I enjoy playing games with people. Which is why even with all its flaws, I really enjoyed Darktide and Payday and that kind of thing. And Borderlands. There's just something fun about playing with other people, no matter how stupid the game is. So I guess my main genre is multiplayer, co-op. Which is actually kind of why I started streaming as well, is because I like interacting with people. Where's my... I have tickets for this. Yeah, I always enjoy just running stuff with people, no matter how stupid it is. Ah, that's how I turn that off again. I was trying to remember how to turn off my mouse movement. Actually, maybe that's part of what also brought me into Warframe, the fact that it's 4-player multiplayer. No, just running it with people. Yeah, I might end up looking at that new One Piece game that's coming out shortly as sort of a proper dive into a turn-based RPG. Because I don't think I've really played much. Where is this? Yeah, come on. There we go. Yeah, there's not really much that I've done in terms of that. I don't know if I actually really have played any of that sort of RPG. I have to think on it. Okay, that's not the right way. Definitely have to start looking for interesting games on Steam. I've considered picking up Smash for the Switch. The only issue is that I'd also have to end up picking up a Nintendo Online thing. That's a really annoying trend in consoles now, that you have to pay for multiplayer. Like, that's why I originally really preferred the PS3 over the Xbox 360. Because you didn't have to pay every month to... Yeah, I need this. Okay, I just need material extraction. Yeah, Nintendo Online, that's certainly a thing. That's not the right one. That's not the right one. Actually, playing Scarlet and Violet, weird that they decided to get rid of the GTS thing. It's like it would have been perfect for trying to get version exclusives. And it's not like it's some new system. They've done it before. Instead, players have come up with their own version of it. Maybe it's to try and make people buy the other version. Because if they make it user-friendly to get the other version's exclusives. Maybe it's just to make sure they sell a bunch of both copies. Let's see. I just got something. How do I... Ah, right. Oh, that's garbage. Rather try and sell you the double pack that implement GTS. Yeah, basically. So players have basically made their own GTS. Specific codes like 001-004 to go for... What was it? A trade of Sprigatito for Fuecoco. And you just gotta hope that your partner is looking for whatever you have instead of you both having the same thing. 'Cause God, that made trying to complete the Pokédex a pain and a half. End up with quite a lot of times Violet players, which meant it was always, hey, you're looking for what was it called? The opposite of Ceruledge. Ceruledge? I don't know how to pronounce it. The opposite of the Dark Knight. But nope, every time you trade, it's somebody else with Violet looking for the Scarlet Pokemon. Where am I going? Ah, right here. Just have to stretch. Yeah, I guess company just saw the profit in it and decided to just kind of copy Microsoft because, I mean, what are players of your console going to do? If you have to pay, you don't have any other choice if you want to play multiplayer. Whereas on PC, you only have to pay for the internet. Which is why I much prefer playing PC games. Yeah, I'm definitely going to look at Smash. Imagine if we had Steam Online. God, that would be horrible. But on the plus side, because it's PC, there almost certainly come cracked servers, and they'd be more populated than the Steam Online ones. Then again, I guess this basically is that, if you think about it. Paying 15 bucks a month to be able to play 14. And I'm doing that happily. Alright, this is going to be that. So I think I might wind down here instead. Yeah, that was my attempt at a controller run of some 14. Start getting ready to... Alright, how do I log? Ah, there we go. Now let's log back in. I have a ton of alts. I paid for 660 days of this so far. Never thought one of my most played games of all time would be one where I have to pay to play every month. Right, I'm out of water. Have to get some more when stream's done. Yeah, that was fun. Definitely very weird trying to do it with a controller. Feels a lot better being able just to press everything with my thumb on my controller. But yeah, this feels so much better. My inventory's a mess though. Actually, yeah, it's talking about the opener for Dancer. I don't fully remember it, but it was almost out of this. Let's see if I can remember the opener. It's something like this. I didn't get it quite right, but... I definitely prefer the head customization for mouse and keyboard. It's quite handy being able to do this sort of thing. think that's where I'm gonna call stream, because it's 5 to 11, which is when I usually end off. Eventually, I hope I'll be able to increase my screen times, but it takes as an introvert, it still is a little bit taxing on my mentally to try and talk with people and whatnot, even with the sort of behind the screen thing. It definitely helps that it's basically talking into text boxes, basically. But yeah, I'm gonna slowly get used to it and hopefully at least increase my streaming times in the future. But for now, that will be the end of stream. I should start off my plugging with Discord, where you can always find me. I'll try and chat there. I've started trying to add a little bit more, or do a little bit more chatting there. Even if I'm not very social, I'm fairly introverted, but I have been making an effort to try and talk a little bit more there. And secondly, I have a YouTube where I upload all my VODs. So if you came in late or missed a stream, every VOD, including this stream, will be there. At least every one since I've started properly streaming. And finally, any other miscellaneous updates are here, if I end up adding them. And I will be finding someone to raid. You have to mute my desktop sound. Looks like... let's see... Kaz is either progging or... Okay, reclears of Abyssos. So I will send you off to them. Wait, that's not the right thing. And I do have a raid command if you're interested, but... yeah, thank you all for watching my stream. As always, I will be back on Friday at 7 PST, and will always be streaming Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 PST to 10 PST. And if there are any changes to that, I'll be sure to let you know on Discord and whatnot. And I hope to see you guys again. Thank you all for watching. And I will see you next time.